Hi, everybody. I'm Emily Kaufman, the Travel Mom. Thanks for joining me for Travel Talk. Today, I have a special guest. You might recognize him as the host of Dancing with the Stars. Me personally, I'm fangirling over. He just got finished with being on The Masked Singer in the role of the Taco. So I'm happy to have Tom Bergeron join me. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Emily. You know, I had no idea when I was doing The Masked Singer that was a great rehearsal for social distancing.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Where are you, Tom?
I'm sitting in my house, and which I've been doing a lot of lately, as I'm sure most of you have as well. And you know, we're all just making do, and while this strange time wafts over us.
So, Tom, before we talk about travel, I do want to ask you about The Masked Singer.
Yes.
How does everybody keep separated during that time so nobody sees each other?
Well, it's an amazing security team, and as you may know, we shoot it, or they shoot it on the same stage where we shoot Dancing with the Stars, same sound stage, obviously different set. But so I knew everybody on the crew and all this, and a number of the production team used to be on Dancing with the Stars. So the car would pick me up at the house, and I'd have a visor and a hoodie that I'd have to put on before we got to the gate. I had an alias, not even Taco, some name they came up with. So I'd go through, then security would greet me, take me right to my trailer, and I'd be in the hoodie, gloves, and visor. And then when it was time to go on stage, either to rehearse or to actually perform, I'd either be in that outfit, and I couldn't say anything to anybody. Even the sweatshirt says, "Don't talk to me" on the front of it. And so I'd be walking by people that in normal situations during dancing, hey, how are you? Big hug, you know, and all that. But it was amazing to not be able to communicate with anybody.
Well, especially with some of those panelists that you actually knew.
Right. I figured they'd get me easily. And Robin came closest when he guessed Bob Saget from a clue of VHS tapes. And I thought, really? Bob's 6'3", I'm 5'9", really? But whatever, he came closest. I was surprised that Nicole, who won Dancing with the Stars, didn't get it. And Jenny, whom I've known for years, she even did the front cover blurb on my book a few years ago. She didn't get it either. That's why she said, she sort of sunk behind the panel, the desk, and said I quit when I pulled the mask on.
Well, it was a good surprise and a good reveal. I was fooled. I thought it was Howie Mandel for some reason.
Oh, no kidding. No, I think in light of coronavirus, Howie is probably in a hazmat suit sitting in his living room right now.
He's having the time of his life on social media. You got to check out what he did. He was dancing with himself the other day in the mirror. Really good stuff. So when I posted that I was going to be talking with you, a lot of people commented that they loved you all the way back to your time in Boston.
Oh, okay.
So if somebody's going to travel and visit Boston, what are a few must-see places that you recommend?
Oh, geez. There are so many. I mean, from Boston up through the seacoast of New Hampshire, which is a very special place to my wife and I. But in Boston itself, I mean, if you go on the Freedom Trail or Faneuil Hall, and down, go for a run or a walk along the Charles River, it's just a beautiful. Go to Legal Seafoods. My buddy Roger Berkowitz runs Legal Seafoods, best seafood in Boston. But it's just a wonderful walking city. Whenever we can get out of our houses again and socialize, I'd recommend Boston as one place to do it.
Wonderful. So when it comes to your travel for vacations, do you have a most memorable place or something that was one of your favorites that you've traveled to?
I really, as I said to you before we were online here, we were chatting just briefly. I'm such a homebody generally. I'm very much a creature of habit. I'll go from the house to Starbucks to the gym to the studio, lather, rinse, repeat. I have to say though, a good buddy of mine and a producer I used to work for and with, he and his wife live in Sydney, Australia, and we've made a couple trips down there, and I just love that. I'm remembering just going for a run by the Sydney Opera House and going to Bondi Beach and all that. Just a really special place.
I've never been to Sydney. My daughter and her fiance went there, and they couldn't get over how nice the people were.
Yes.
Everybody
yes.
was so kind.
Yeah. No, it's a great place. I was actually emailing with my friend Peter Feynman, who directed the movie Crocodile Dundee, for those who remember that, but also who worked with me on FX Cable when we launched a morning show back in the 90s when FX first launched. And he and I were emailing each other. And I said, when this is over, Pete, I gotta hit Sydney again and visit.
I'm going to put that one on my bucket list for somewhere to
definitely.
visit when the time is right also.
Exactly.
So Tom, I got a few questions submitted that people asked me to ask you.
Sure.
And the first one is about Dancing with the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to know, how far in advance do you know who the cast is going to be? And do you know who the next cast is going to be for the show?
Well, I usually know a week or so ahead of time, because I've asked them in the past, don't give me names until everybody's signed. Because sometimes they'll say, oh, we got a really good chance of get this person, and then they fall out for whatever reason. So I wait until almost a few days before we go on Good Morning America to trot out the cast. As far as the next cast, your guess is as good as mine if we'll have one. Even prior to coronavirus, we hadn't had an official pickup, though we certainly had been given indications by the network that they regarded it as a no-brainer. But now, in light of what we're all dealing with, Bruno and I were actually texting each other yesterday and just checking in and all that. And I said, I hope we work together again, because right now, at the end of March, it's hard to imagine a scenario where 700 strangers and 24 sweaty dancers will all be mingling happily together. Nothing would please me more than to welcome you to another season of the show, take a collective sigh of relief and get on with it. But that's very much a question mark right now.
Well, when the time is right, I would love to join you one of these days with the 700 other people and the 24 sweaty dancers, and celebrate that we're all back to what our old normal used to be. Another question that someone asked is about Transcendental Meditation.
Yes.
That you are involved actively with Transcendental Meditation, and they wanted to know how you came to be involved with it.
Meditation, TM meditation, actually, I took the training years ago when I was dating my wife, and we were sitting in the car talking about something, and something frustrating had gone on, and I just kind of slammed my fist into the car door to my left. And she very sagely said, if we're going to have a relationship, that has to stop. And in my bachelor days, I had left a few apartments with holes in the sheetrock and put posters over them, because I know it doesn't look like it, but I had a bit of a temper issue in my youth, certainly. And the TM was the meditation, whether it's Transcendental Meditation, which is one style, or any kind. It's a mental discipline to kind of find your calm, find your present. I mean, we all live in the present moment, even if our brains don't agree to that. Sometimes we're so focused on what we're doing later, or what we regret, or second guessing what we did earlier, that we're not here now. And meditation for me has been one of the best ways to not only let stress roll off my back largely, but also to be present, to be in the moment of my life, which hosting a live TV show comes in, as you can imagine, very handy.
Well, one of the things I love about travel is that it does force you to be so very in the now and in the moment. There's sort of a transformative power to it. So, right. Tom, where's the first place you think you'll visit when the time is right?
Well, it's interesting. As you said, transformative power, I thought, yeah, that's very much, traveling is almost like a moving meditation, isn't it? Because you're outside of your comfort zone, you're outside of your predictable creature comforts. And ideally, and I've been guilty, I'm sure a lot of people watching, sometimes when you're traveling, you wish you had the stuff that made you feel normal. Like, oh, my regular restaurant's not there, or the coffee shop's not there, or the gym, or whatever. And you got to get past that and savor the now of it. And to some degree, that's instructive, I think, for all of us during this time. This is none of us could have seen this coming to this extent. And there are, I really believe this when I'm feeling my most optimistic, there are lessons here, there are things to actually value about this time. And that's kind of the traveling I'm doing is internally right now.
That's beautiful thought. My goal is to inspire, motivate, and encourage people to step out of their comfort zones and have new experiences. So you just hit the nail on the head
thanks.
with what it is that I want to do. Tom, I want to thank you for taking the time to chat with all of us.
My pleasure.
I love what you said. My mantra is when we lift each other, the whole world elevates. So I want to keep lifting each other, talking about travel in a positive light, because when the time is right, we will all get back on the road again.
All right. And you've got a seat in my section at Dancing with the Stars.
I can't wait. Thank you, Tom.
Bye, Emily. Take care.
Bye-bye.